Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Dragon's Lair. My name is Brent. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Usually I do like comics and toys, but I'm also, big into music, specifically like Christian or Christian related music. And when I say Christian related, I mean bands that have, a few members that are Christian or they're all Christian and they just don't want the Christian title, whatever. Um, if you don't know, I am a Christian. I do, follow Jesus Christ. I follow his teachings. I try to the best that I can, though I fail him daily. I love him so much, but I am also big into the Christian metal, thrash, death metal, hardcore, metalcore, deathcore, punk, whatever. I like praise and worship. I go all the way back to Keith Green. I grew up, my dad sang gospel. I'm not the biggest gospel fan, but I love Keith Green. But, I go all the way back listening to all that stuff, the punk, Christian hair metal from the 80s, stuff like that. But we're just going to go over some recent CDs I have added to my collection. I am a big CD collector, which you can see some of them. And this is like my half of the room all around here. The other half is my wife's, and that's like she collects purses. But you can see some of my CDs back there. I got CDs over here. I got CDs up here. And I'm probably sitting on about 3,000 CDs right now. I don't get enough time to listen to them. But we're just going to go over just some recent stuff I've added to the collection. I'm probably going to miss some stuff because, I'm constantly buying CDs and I forget about it. But we're going to start it right off with Focused Devil's Kiss. If you've never heard of Focus, they were a Christian hardcore band back in the 90s that signed to Tooth and Nail Records when Tooth and Nail Records was first starting. I think they were the first hardcore band on Tooth and Nail Records. There's the back of it. This is just a 3-song EP off Steadfast Records. Clean vocals, just typical hardcore. If you're into hardcore, they also sent me, they got to have their little flyers, and of course we got some stickers. I'm a sucker for stickers, especially band stickers and stuff like that. Cool little postcard type thing. That's from Steadfast Records. If you don't know who Steadfast Records is, that was, what's his name? I want to say was it Mick Porter? It was one of the guys from 6 Feet Deep / Branson. If you never listened to them, 6 Feet Deep was hardcore. Branson was more, I don't know, emo-ish, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it. I don't try to get into all these subgenres of, it's I don't know, hard rock and jazz, mathcore, or whatever, gentcore. I don't know, whatever. If it's core, it's core. If it's metal, it's metal. If it's thrash, it's thrash in my eyes. So I'm not going to get into any of those debates. If you want to debate that, I don't care. Next up, we have Last Chapter of the Living Waters. I got this for $3 down at Lewisburg Flea Market. I want to say I already have this CD, but I wasn't sure. I used to have Discogs on my phone, but I had to take it off to have room to play games and stuff like that because I'm a gamer too. But this is doom metal, I believe. Show off the inside there. But I want to say I have this one already, but if I don't, I don't. Next up, we have Holy Name, Rock Against Traffic, live in Pomona. If you don't know who Holy Name is, it's ex-Sleeping Giant. I'm a big Sleeping Giant fan, so, not a fan of these, like, Digipack CDs. I'd much rather them be in a jewel case and stuff like that, but you take whatever you get, I guess. I think I got 2 of those, don't I? I think I'll wait on that one. Next up, we have Holiness Cries from Bloodlines. If you're into core, hardcore, probably metalcore, definitely say check this album out. This album is just absolutely amazing. This is only a 5-song EP off Face Down Records. Amazing album. Next up, we have the self-released album from Bride. They had both their albums for $50, so I spent the $50 just to get these. They are autographed. It's Bride, Vipers, and Shadows. This is a double disc. See, it's autographed by Dale and Troy. If you don't know who Bride is, they started off as the Matrix back in the 80s. You know, hair metal, and then, you know, when the grunge came out, they just changed their styles with the times. Still good music all the way through, in my opinion. And then we also have the Lost Reels. And these guys got to be up in their, got to be pushing their 60s by now. I don't know, 50s, 60s, somewhere in there. I'd say 60s. But they're still putting out music. They quit for a few years and got, you know, Dale started doing music again. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with that. So this is the Lost Reels. And it is autographed. I don't know if you could see the autograph. So that is pretty cool. Next up we have Meadows, Familiar with Pain. They're off Face Down Records. I haven't opened this one and listened to it yet. I'm not much into streaming music. I tried that whole Spotify thing and I found myself becoming like a best of fan. And I'd listen to like two songs off every album. So I'd rather just play CDs. As with CDs, I just play everything. Next up, we have Zayo, All Else Failed. And I want to say I already had this and I didn't realize it. They had like a super sale, so I was just ordering everything off their sale. This wasn't on sale and I ordered it. And after I ordered it, I was like, oh shoot, I think I already have that. And this is just a re-release of their original album. I want to say the vocalist, Dan, did the vocals on this one, maybe? Maybe he didn't on this one. I don't know. I know they did one years before this one. This is like a 25th anniversary or something like that. They did one years ago, like early 2000s with Dan on vocals, because the original vocalist was Sean Jonas, who's in Symphony in Peril now. So might be a dupe. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it away one of these days. Have a free giveaway on here. Of course, that was off Steadfast Records, and, you know, some more of the same old stickers, and probably give my nephew some of them stickers. Cool little advertisements. 2 Minute Minor, like hardcore punk from Chicago. Get you some 2 Minute Minor. Cool dudes. And we got some more stickers. These are from Plead the Widow's Cause. One of these days I'll have to do a video just showing off like band stickers. Would anybody want to see that? Spirit-filled post-hardcore. Plead the Widow's Cause. In which I ordered the album. I haven't opened it up yet. It's hard to see, but this is Plead the Widow's Cause. I don't know. You get probably too much of a glare to even see it. But light cover. Of course, we got a Clear Conviction sticker. In which I got 2 Clear Convictions album. This is their 2015 release, hardcore band. Like I said, I'm not going to get into the genres. Are they metalcore? Are they mathcore? They're hardcore. I just call metalcore hardcore for the most part. I mean, metalcore, you have your breakdown metalcore, and then you have your metalcore from the 90s. I listen to it also. I don't care. I'm not going to debate with anybody. And we also have the newer Clear Convictions. This is from 2024. Maybe the album's called Endure. I don't know. But very, very cool. I haven't listened to this one yet. I haven't had time to spin it. And we also picked up To Hell with the Amps from Stryper. If you don't know who Stryper is, they're probably one of the biggest bands in Christian music, Christian metal. Which, this is just a CD. Yeah, this is just CD. Been cool if this would have been a CD DVD, but, you know. Of course, they're going all Digipack too. Go figure. And I had also got their last album, When We Were Kings, too, but I got that out in the vehicle, so couldn't show that one off. And getting back to the Zayo, like I said, Zayo had a big sale. So I just went and picked up a lot of Zayo. Now, Zayo is not like a Christian band anymore. They dropped that title years ago. If you don't know who Zayo is, they got... A lot of people credit them with like birthing or helping to birth the metalcore movement back in the 90s. This is like the pre-breakdown metalcore. It's not the metalcore you really hear today a lot. You hear a lot of breakdown metalcore today and deathcore and stuff like that. But they had Where Blood and Fire Bring Rest and Liberate Ex Inferis. Really changed the whole hardcore scene and helped bring about metalcore bands like that. Living Sacrifice did the same thing. You know, I'm a big Living Sacrifice fan, but like I said, Zayo was cleaning out their shop, so I just went and bought whatever's on clearance, and these were all like, I don't know, $4 a piece, I think, something like that. Maybe even cheaper than that. I don't know. But this is Zayo. I can't read what the album is. Oh, The Well-Intentioned Virus. Like I said, not a Christian band anymore. I think some of them are still Christians, but, you know, is what it is. And this is Zayo Live from the Church, which I believe this is a CD/DVD. I said I haven't got around to listening to these yet. Too much to do and not enough time. Then we got Zayo, The Crimson Corridor. I'll get them open and listen to eventually here. And we have Zayo, Pyrrhic Victory. I don't know if I said that right. Cool cover there, though. Very, very cool. If you like hardcore, metalcore, whatever you want to call it. And then I also have this box right here. This is from Brent Miller. If you don't know Brent Miller, he does... he's got an online site called Brent's Christian Rock. I think Christian Rock and Metal or Christian Rock, whatever. And he sends out lists in the mail and stuff like that. And he sells new and used CDs. You know, he'll buy stuff new when it comes out. And he throws a lot of used CDs. He's always hunting for CDs. He takes trades. And this is off his clearance list. So if you buy off him throughout the year or whatever, usually around like April to May, he does a clearance list where everything's like reduced. So I ordered a bunch. Gotta figure out how to open this box. Oh, got a bottom. So I ordered a bunch off his clearance list, and I think my brother and nephew have some stuff in here too. So... hopefully I don't cut myself. Guess if I cut myself and you see blood everywhere, that'd be pretty metal, wouldn't it? Oh, we got popcorn. I just put popcorn all over the floor. Oh well. Pretty cool. We'll see what we get in here, because I sure as heck don't remember. I remember a few of the things I ordered, but... First up, we have POD, The Warriors EP Volume 2. If you don't know POD, Payable on Death. You know, I think a lot of people say they're like the Limp Bizkit of Christian rock, but I'm pretty sure POD started before Limp Bizkit. I think they even put their full length out before Limp Bizkit even did. I think. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure they did. So, you know, people make that association with Limp Bizkit. Whatever. Next up, we have Scourged Flesh, Welcome to the End of the World. Which this is, I want to say from Australia. It's released off Soundmass, which I think this is a reprint. I want to say these guys are Australian. I can't remember. Metal, maybe death metal. Been a while. I have one Scourge Flesh album, but I haven't listened to that in years probably. Next up we have Sculpture from Nuclear Blast. Nuclear Blast is a big label over Europe. Which, man, a lot of this stuff was used, so I was just picking it up cheap. I want to say this is death metal. Gonna have to take a peek here. Oop. Something fell out. Nuclear Blast from Germany. Oh, they got keyboards in it, so it's either metal or death metal. Symphonic metal, maybe. It's some kind of metal. I don't know if I've ever listened to Sculpture, but that was pretty cool. I got it for like $5 or something like that, $5-6. So next up is 7th Avenue, Southgate. 7th Avenue, I want to say, is metal. I know I've listened to them before, but I've never owned any of their CDs, so this is my first 7th Avenue CD. I want to say they're metal, hard rock metal, something like that. So that is pretty cool. Next up, we have another band I don't know much about. This is Taketh, Freak Show. I've never heard of this band. I don't even remember where they're from. I've been trying to get into more of these bands from overseas, import stuff like that. And I want to get into a lot of these, like, you know, Central American, South American bands and stuff like that. But a lot of them speak, Spanish or Portuguese, and the music sounds great, but I have no idea what they're saying because I don't speak Spanish or Portuguese or anything like that. But kind of like generic looking cover. It almost looks like a do-it-yourself one from back in the day. Like I said, I don't even know who. I've never listened to it. I don't even know what they sound like. And this is my nephew's CD. This is As I Lay Dying, Frail Worlds Collapse. Words or worlds? Words. Frail Words Collapse. Hardcore, metalcore, whatever you want to call it. I do have this CD. This is off Metal Blade Records. But my nephew's big fan of that. My nephew's actually in a band too. If any of you guys like punk rock, he's in a local band here in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania called Feverton. Feverton. So you guys should definitely check it out if you like punk rock. Anywhere from Green Day-ish on up. They have sound like that. They need all the love they can get. So if you guys, are on Spotify or whatever, or Facebook, look up Feverton. Got a nice little note from Brent there. Get into it. Next up, we have Callous in the Memory of. This is from Australia. Callous was Phil Gibson, who played drums for Mortification on Bloodworld after Jason Sherlock left the band. So that is pretty cool. I've never had that album. Next up is Karam Dio. Death is Dead. Not sure what this is. This is off Soundmass. Might be death metal. I don't know. I love my death metal. I have no idea where they're from. Definitely something I want to check out, so that's pretty cool. Next up, this was something my brother wanted. This is the Fighter demos. If you've never heard of Fighter, they were female-fronted hard rockish band. Back late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there. I remember I bought their CD, I think it was Bang the Drum. Didn't care for it. I hated it. I was just a teenager. Didn't like it at all. And I got into Christian metal like in 1992. And one day my brother, he's like 8 years older than me, he came up and he's like, I'm bored. You got any music I can listen to? And I was like, here, check this out. So I gave him the Fighter, the Bang the Drum. And he went and played that album for like weeks straight. He fell in love with it. So he's a big Fighter fan. So he ordered this one. So he had to have the demos. So, and this is off Girder Records, which is like Girder Records, Retroactive Records, Rocks Records. There's a bunch of them. They do new stuff and they reissue stuff, that's hard to find or whatever. Next up, we have Grave Forsaken, Reap What You Sow from Australia. This is pure thrash. I love Grave Forsaken. Very, very cool Christian thrash band. They probably got a good, 10 albums. 8, 9, 10 albums. Very, very cool. Definitely check them out if you like thrash. For sure. And next up, we have a nice little double disc here. This is 20 Years in the Underground from Mortification. If you don't know who Mortification is, they started off... Originally, they were Light Force. Changed their name. They went from like 80s hair metal to straight on death metal, and then they've just mixed it up over the years. But they were one of the bands that actually led me to Christ. Big three bands for me are Tourniquet, Living Sacrifice, and Mortification. As I bought 3 of their cassette tapes back in '92, and that's what ultimately led me to Christ. I grew up in a Christian home, but I didn't want anything to do with it. So it was just listening to death metal and thrash music, which my mom absolutely hated, and she called it demonic. Sounds like demons coming out of them speakers. Is what it is, I guess. And if nobody knows who Steve Rowe is, he also had a he was one of the founders of this band. He also had a record label for years, and called Row Productions, and he put a lot of Australian bands and some other bands from around the world on the map. Christian bands. So will always be one of my favorite bands. Some of his stuff people think's cheesy, but I still love it. We're almost at the end of this music hall. Try not to spill all these peanuts everywhere. Next up, we have Mortification Grind Plan. It's a DVD. Very, very cool. Super excited to watch this. And the very last thing we have in here, this is my nephew's too. I think this is the last thing. The rest is all packaging. We have a nice little magazine, HM, with Imagine This and MXPX. You see MXPX on there. He wanted it for MXPX. They were a pop punk band. Probably one of the most popular. They're not a Christian band anymore. They kind of started off as a Christian band. Very, very cool band if you like pop punk. If you like Green Day, but in my opinion sounds so much better, go check out MXPX. But that's it for my little music hall. I don't know if you guys are much into music. I see a lot of the guys that, I follow, on YouTube and stuff like that. They do comics and stuff. A lot of them are big into music. So, I'm really thinking about doing a music channel on the side. And, I don't know if I if I have the time to do it, or whatever. But, if enough people, actually say, hey, we want to see, show off some CDs and talk about bands and stuff like that, I'd definitely be all down for doing that, because I love music, love my Christian music. I don't really listen to as much secular music. Most of my collection is probably 95% Christian. I do have some stuff like Weird Al. I love Weird Al, Yankovic, stuff like that. But, then, my nephew's band, I got their CD here, back here. I believe it's back here. I got CDs everywhere. So, but if I have enough people say, hey, we'd love to see you do, more music on this channel or something, or talk about music, maybe that's something I'll start exploring to do, on top of doing comics and toys and stuff like that, because music is a big part of my life. I'm also into video games. I just wish I had more time in the day. Unfortunately, I have to go to work in a factory, which sucks. I hate it. Hate everything about it. But it pays the bills and it funds my hobbies. So, but that's all I got in this episode. Like I said, I probably forgot a few CDs that I bought over the last month or so. That was probably a good month and a half worth of buying CDs right there. So, which are getting harder and harder to find, and a lot of bands just don't seem to make them anymore. And I'm not into streaming. If it's not on CD, chances are I'll probably never listen to it, unless I check it out on YouTube or something. But that's all I got. If you guys liked what you saw, like, comment, subscribe. It's all cool. It's all good. Thanks for watching, guys.